Inshallah, today we are going to discuss adaptation for survival. In our last class, when we looked at competition, we made mention of the fact that organisms that are well adapted outgrow those ones that are not well adapted, and they occupy or they succeed those less adapted organisms. So that will bring us to today's topic, adaptation for survival. Now, what is adaptation? Now, adaptation is the process by which an organism gets fitted to its environment, gets fitted and succeed and live successfully in the environment it found itself as a result of its structure, appearance, and behavior. I told you adaptation is that process by which an organism gets fitted and lives successfully in the environment it found itself as a result of its structure and behavior. Underline that word. As a result of its structure and behavior. For example, organisms that live in water, such as fishes, as we all know, they are the ones that occupy this habitat. They are the largest group of organisms that occupy the aquatic habitat. These organisms, the shape of their body, their streamlined body shape, enables them to swim very well in water. That is as a result of their structure helps them to live very well in that environment. Organisms that live in this water also, they possess gills that makes them to be able to breathe in water. You can see that structure in them makes them to be able to live successfully in that environment. Unlike terrestrial animals, such as maybe mice or we human beings, we have lungs that we use for respiration. This lungs is a structural adaptation that enables us to undergo gaseous exchange on this terrestrial habitat successfully. Now, all this, there are modifications that allows an organism to live successfully in that environment they found themselves. Another example is in birds. We know that one of the movement birds engage is flight. Now, for them to be able to fly in the atmosphere, they possess wings, abi? Now, that is a structural adaptation. So, everything that makes an organism live successfully in an habitat, that thing is termed adaptation. There are two types of adaptation. I said basically there are two types. Number one, types of adaptation. We have one known as structural adaptation. And the other is known as behavioral adaptation. I said we have two types of adaptation. We have the first one known as structural adaptation and the second one behavioral adaptation. Now the first one, structural adaptation. Structural adaptation are modification in structures that enables an organism or that increases the survival rate of an organism in a particular habitat. For example, now I told you earlier on, the class A's, the birds, there is a structural adaptation of their hind limbs. You know, all the vertebrates, they have both hind limbs and the forelimbs, the hind limbs and the hind limbs. Now, their hind limbs is structurally, one of the forelimbs is structurally adapted because of the fact that they have to fly around. That is a structural adaptation. It is a modification of structure for the particular function it will carry out as a result of the place where the organism found itself. Now, as I told you earlier on, structural adaptation are any special modification of structures that help the organism to survive very well in its habitat. That is termed structural adaptation. I give you an example in birds. You know, the vertebrates, they have 4 limbs, the hind limbs and the fore limbs. Now, in birds, one of these limbs is being modified to form the wings. This modification of structure is as a result of the flight which the organism will engage. Now, let's look at some example of structural adaptation in various organisms. The first one we'll look at is for obtaining food. Now, let us move forward. In our last class, we have talked about structural adaptation. Now, inshallah, today we'll look at behavior. That's not about structural adaptation. In this class, we'll look at behavioral adaptation. As I told you in the last class, there are various structural modifications that enables an organism to live successfully in a particular habitat where it found itself. And we'll look at various examples. We'll look at those ones for obtaining food in various birds, their modification for beak and their claws. And we also look at various ones, both in plants and in some other named animal. That was for last class. Inshallah, in this week, we'll stress more on behavioral adaptation. What is behavioral adaptation? Now, behavioral adaptation involves all the responses, any response an organism made to changes to its environment. It entails or it involves the responses an organism undergo. The response, what an organism does in response to changes in an environment or in its environment. That one is termed as behavioral adaptation. I told you behavioral adaptation are the responses that an organism undergo in response to a particular changes in its environment in order to increase its chances of survival and to make the organism to be able to reproduce. Now, all the responses to changes in environment in order to make the organism to be more fitted and survive to that particular environment is termed behavioral adaptation. Now, we'll look at some examples. For example, we have some behavioral adaptation. Behavioral adaptation of predators. You all know what a predator is. A predator is an animal that kill and feed on other animals for their survival. Now, how did they do this? Their behavioral adaptation to ensure that they get their food as a predator. Now, one of it is that they set traps, setting of traps. Now, we have some animals such as spiders. Yes, spider spins its web. And what does it use this web to? It uses the web as trap, so as to trap its prey. By the time the prey fall on it, the prey will not be able to go out. And as such, the prey has been entrapped in it. So, and as such, the spider will feed on the prey. Setting a trap is one behavioral adaptation of predators for their prey. Now, another example of behavioral adaptation that we found in animals is that some animals, they have this behavior that they can run very fast, ability to run fast. Yeah, some of these carnivores that are predators to this smaller animal, they have this ability to outrun their prey, catch it, and feed on it. A very good example is lion. We all know lion runs very fast since it's a carnivore. Another good example is the leopard. These are animals that can run very, very fast. Now, we also have another behavioral adaptation that is common in animals. One of it is that these animals, they lay ambush, laying of ambush for their prey. Now, some animals, they exhibit this behavior, like praying mantis. It hides somewhere and waits for its prey to come. Also, some snakes that feed on insects and some other lower animals, they hide somewhere gently without their prey noticing, and as they see their prey, they feed on it. All these, they are behavioral adaptation of predators so as to catch their prey. Now, another group of behavioral adaptation. Now, this one is by the predator, by the prey, because as the predator is watching, the prey that they want to eat is also minding itself. Behavioral adaptation of prey, protecting the prey, from predation. Behavioral adaptation, protecting prey from predation. We can also say it is a behavioral adaptation for defense by the prey. Now, one of it is that some animals, they remain motionless as soon as they see their prey. They remain motionless. A very good example is the snail. As soon as the snail feels some danger or threatened, the snail retracts into its shell and remains motionless. This is a defensive mechanism against predation, so that the predator will not be able to catch this animal. Now, another one is secretion of irritating liquid. Secretion of irritating liquid. Some animals that are prey to some other larger animals. For example, the toad. It has this slimy skin that even if the animal wants to grip it, it becomes slimy and it will be less grippable. Another thing is that this slimy liquid, for example, if a dog wants to eat a toad, by the time the dog even eventually eats the toad, it becomes poisonous to that dog. All these, they are defensive mechanisms of this prey against their predator. Now, another behavioral adaptation that is usually seen in animals is that these animals, they have the ability to also fly away. For example, in birds, but as soon as they get into danger, they quickly fly away. Or some, they can run very fast away from that predator. They can run fast away from the predator. All these, they are behavioral adaptation that we see in animals. Another one is secretion of offensive odor. Secretion of offensive odor. Some animals, as soon as they notice their predator, in response to that, they tend to secrete offensive odor that will scare that predator away. All these, they are behavioral adaptation in response to that changes in the environment that they find themselves. A very good example of animal that exhibit this, we have some insects such as beetles, we have birds, they exhibit this one. Some animals also, they swell or puff up. They puffing up by some animal. Yes. A very good example is seen in toad. By the time an animal wants to swallow the toad will puff up so that the animal will not be able to swallow the toad and will not have option than to pour it out. This is a behavioral adaptation for defense against predation. Another one is feign death. Some animals, they feign death. They pretend as if they are dead, whereas they are not dead. A very good example is millipede. The millipede that we see. By the time this millipede is touched or it sees danger, it will feign as if it is dead, whereas it is not dead. It is an adaptation against predation. Another one is some of these animals, they move in groups so as to frighten their predation. A very good example are the monkeys. They move in groups. Another one is concealing coloration. Some animals, they have this pretty coloration that will blend with their environment such that they are not easily noticed by their predators. All these, they have behavioral adaptation against predation. Another one is mimicry. And mimicry. Now, this mimicry is a situation whereby an object resembles whereby an organism resembles a closely related object. Let me say an organism that is not normally harmful resembles an organism that is very, very harmful. This is a mimicry. Or sometimes you see some insects, they look like dead leaves on the floor. They are trying to adapt such that their predator will not easily notice them. All these, there are examples of behavioral adaptation that will protect prey from predation. Are we there? We are moving forward. Remember, I told you that today we are stressing more on behavioral adaptation, and I've told you that behavioral adaptation are some responses that an organism engage with to changes in the environment to enable it to survive and reproduce very well in that environment. I will make mention of examples of adaptation that we find in some animals. For example, some predators that they do for their prey. We also look at some examples of adaptation by prey against their predation. Now, we are looking at some branches of this known as adaptive coloration. We are still under behavioral adaptation. Now, what is adaptive coloration? Adaptive coloration is a situation whereby an organism possesses a color which enables that organism to live better or to avoid predation, to make it catch its prey, and increases its chances of survival. Now, I told you that adaptive coloration is a process by which an organism possesses a specific color, and that specific color enables the organism to catch its prey and protect it from its enemies, as well as increases its chances of survival in that particular environment. That is adaptive coloration. There are different types of adaptive coloration as we have. For example, we have warning coloration. Now, this warning coloration is one that scares predators away from a particular animal. Now, usually, most vertebrates, they have come to know that brightly colored animals, organisms, they are usually not pleasant. They are usually not palatable to taste. Most vertebrate carnivores that eat vertebrates, they have come to know that most of them that are brightly colored, they are not usually palatable. So, as a result, with time, organisms that are not palatable, they have this bright coloration on them to give those predators that I'm not palatable, don't come near me. That is warning coloration. A very good example is seen in the black and yellow color of the grasshoppers. It is a warning coloration to tell the predators that it is not an organism to be fed upon. And a very good example is also found in the ladybirds, the beetle. They have this red and black coloration to tell their predators that they are unpalatable for them, such that they will not be fed upon. That is warning coloration. It is an adaptive coloration. Now, another examples of adaptive coloration is known as camouflage. Camouflage is a situation whereby it is an adaptation that helps an organism to blend with its surrounding so that the organism or its predators will not be easily noticed. The organism possesses colors that will enable it to blend with its surrounding so that predators will not be able to notice it. A very good example is found in green grasshoppers that has green pigment in them. This green pigment enables them to blend with the leaf in the environment they found themselves. This is a camouflage adaptive feature. Another example is found in green snakes. Most green snakes, they walk around grasses and where we have plants, and they become unnoticed by their predators. Another example of adaptive coloration is known as countershading. Countershading is a process or is a situation in which an organism possessing two distinct colors at various sides of the body. Let's say the ventral side has a particular color and the dorsal side has a particular color. A very good example is found in fishes, whereby more often than not, their ventral side is usually lightly colored and their dorsal side is usually dark colored. This is for them. This adaptation is such that when they are viewed from above, their predator will not easily see them. When they are viewed from below, since below is dark, when they are viewed from below, also they will not be easily noticed. This is also an example of adaptive coloration known as counter shading. Now, we also have another form of adaptive coloration called changing of colors. Some animals, they have ability to change their colors to blend with that in the environment. For example, we see that in the chameleon that we are all familiar with. We also see that adaptation process in some grasshoppers, such that during the rainy season, when all the leaves are green, they become green, they have green color. And when the rainy season is gone, we tend towards dry season. When the leaves are brown, they change their color to blend with the color of the leaves during that time. All these are a form of adaptive coloration. There are some also adaptive coloration known as mating coloration. Mating coloration is exhibited as a result of reproductive activity. This mating coloration is the possession of specific skin coloration by a particular sex of the species of an organism, and the opposite species does not have that particular color. This mating coloration enables those species to recognize their mate and know that this is the mating period. The very good example is found in lizard. The male lizard is brightly colored and more conspicuous than the female lizard. All these they are examples of adaptive coloration. Now we are moving on to what is known as mimicry, partition mimicry. As I told you earlier on, while I was mentioning, I said we also have what is known as mimicry. This partition mimicry mimicry is a situation whereby an harmless organism known as a mimic, an harmless organism known as a mimic resembles another organism that is very distasteful or harmful. This organism that it resembles, that is distasteful or sometimes harmful, is known as the model. Now, all this mimicry is in order to increase that harmless organism chances of survival. I said mimicry is a situation in which an harmless organism termed as the mimic tend to resemble another harmful organism termed as the model in order to increase its chances of survival. A very good example is found in stick insects. This stick insect takes the form of a stick on the floor that you not easily notice. It's mimicking an ordinary stick. Now, this is a very good example of vertical mimicry. Another example is found in the swallow-tailed butterfly. This swallow-tailed butterfly is not harmful, but at the wing, along some side on the wing, it has some red color on the wings, and this red color, as I told you earlier on, most brightly colored insects are usually distasteful. So this bright color that it is mimicking, it is trying to tell the predators that it is not palatable, it is harmful. However, this insect on its own is not harmful. It is a kind of adaptation that is trying to mimic the more harmful insect. Now, we also have adaptive coloration in plants. For example, some plants, they have a very colorful petals. Very colorful petals. Their flowers are colorful and attractive. Now, what is this adaptive coloration for? It is to attract pollinating insects such that they will be attracted to come and pollinate them. Another example of adaptive coloration is found also in some insectivorous plants, such as nepenthes that we are all familiar with. These nepenthes, as we know, is the pitcher plants, the nepenthes. This insect, their flower is like a trap, and it is usually attractive. The attractiveness is to attract the insect so that they will come. As soon as they touch the pitcher part of the flower, they get entangled and they get entrapped, and the insect will be entrapped and it will be digested in that flower, and this plant will get its nutrients that it is requiring. All these are examples of adaptive coloration. Now, other behavioral adaptive coloration in plants that we have not mentioned is they include, number one, some plants they shed their leaves during the dry season. This adaptation is such that they will be able to conserve water. Another adaptive feature that we see in plants is the ability of the plant to make some vegetative part of the plant to die, death of some vegetative part of the plant, such that it is only the underground part that will remain. Now, when the rainy season now comes, it will now sprout out. This is an behavioral adaptation to survive some harsh weather conditions. We also have dormancy. Some of the plants, they remain dormant during harsh weather, such that after the harsh weather has gone, they can be able to come back to life. Now, we are moving forward. We have talked about plants, talked about brightly colored part of the plant to attract insects. I've talked about the insectivorous plant, and most of them are also brightly colored to attract insects such that they will digest insects for their nitrogen requirement. And I also talked about other behavioral adaptations such as shedding of leaves, such as death of the vegetative part, as well as dormancy of that particular plant. Now, we also have behavioral adaptation to survive harsh weather. Some plants, some animals, there has been some behavioral adaptation to survive harsh weather conditions. Behavioral adaptation to survive harsh weather, to survive harsh weather. Now, one of it is known as estivation. What happened during estivation? During estivation, all metabolic body processes is reduced, is slowed down, and the animal remains inactive for that long period of time. Now, I said estivation is the process by which the animal slows down its metabolic process and it becomes active in order to survive that harsh weather period. Another one is called hibernation. Hibernation is a process whereby animal reduces metabolic process and even sleep sometimes. A state of sleep and reduction in body metabolic process in order to survive long period of low temperature or winter period, as well as food scarcity. It is like hibernation and estivation occurs in tropics. It is a situation whereby an organism reduces body activity, reduces body metabolic activity, and becomes inactive in order to survive long period of drought, long period of high temperature, and long period of food scarcity. Whereas hibernation is a process whereby an organism slows down its body metabolic rate and become inactive or a long period of sleep, such that the animal will be able to survive long period of low temperature or long period of winter, so as to survive those long periods. All these, they are behavioral adaptation to survive weather conditions. Another one is migration. Some animals, when the condition is not favorable in their environment, they move to another, they migrate to another environment. A very good example of animal where we find estivation is in the crocodile. When dry season begins, the crocodile dig under the wood and hide there. And when the condition is favorable, it comes out. When the rain begins, it comes out again. That is a very good example of where we find estivation in animal. Also, for hibernation, we can find it in some bats and some field mice. They reduce their metabolic activity and engage in long period of sleep so that they will be able to survive the low temperature. Now, we are moving forward now to what is known as courtship behavior. Remember I told you there are some mating coloration that we have. Some animals, they reveal some colors so as to tell or to know their partners. Now, what is courtship behavior? Courtship behavior refers to all activity that a particular animal engages in period to mating. All activity that, or all reproductive activity that a particular animal engages in before mating, they are called courtship behavior. The function or the role of this courtship behavior are mainly two. One is to put the animal in the right mood or in the right reproductive mood. Another aim of courtship behavior is to keep both partners of the sexes together. And I said courtship behavior refers to all reproductive activity that an animal engages in period to mating. And I told you there are two major aims of this courtship behavior: to put the two animals in together, to make sure that they are together. Another thing is that to put this animal in the right mood for mating. Now, a very good example of courtship behavior is known as pairing. It's known as pairing. It occurs when two mature male and female animals leave their habitat and go to a separate place where they will breed or where they will mate. That is known as pairing. Another example or another form of courtship behavior is display. Now, this display is a situation whereby an animal that is interested in mating, an animal that is interested in mating carry out attractive activities or attractive exhibition. What is this attractive exhibition? In order to attract the female for mating. It is known as display. A very good example of display is found in birds. During mating, or when those animals want to mate, birds, they tend to, the male counterpart tend to exhibit its fine feather, its beautiful colored feather. It will exhibit all these feather for the female animal to see them, so as to attract it for mating to take place. Another example of courtship behavior is known as territoriality. Now, some animals, they tend to claim ownership of a particular nest or territory in order to secure their mates. We also have seasonal migration. All these, they are courtship behavior. Remember, I told you pairing up. When a male and female counterpart of an animal, they move themselves out of the group and go somewhere such that they can reproduce. That is known as pairing up. We also have display, exhibition, as attractive exhibition of anything beautiful that the animal possesses. It's known as display. And territoriality, when an animal vigorously guards a particular area and camp it such that no other male tends to enter that territory. Now, that is the example. You can find an example in lizards. Some lizards, they tend to home a particular territory, and in those areas, you only have one male lizard there, and you have plenty females. And any other male lizard coming in there, the male lizard tends to guard that territory with everything he had. All these, they are examples of courtship behavior that we see in animals. There are also some form of behavioral adaptation. Now, we also have a type of behavioral adaptation known as gregarious behavior. This gregarious behavior is such that species of the same kind, they don't move singly. They move in groups. They move in groups and live in groups. Organisms that exhibit that type of behavior, they are called gregarious, and that type of behavior is termed gregarious behavior. They form aggregation. They move in groups. Those that group are called aggregation. A very good example is found in lizard, is found in zebra, is found in some birds, some fish, and some insects, such as termites, wasps, bees, etc. This, their group, helps them to secure mates easily, to protect them from predation, to secure food, and so on and so forth. In this gregarious animal, they tend to have a social grouping that enables them to give protection and some other things they derive. Under this, from here, I'm going to cut it short, and we have some of the notes in the dashboard. I will enable you to go through the notes very well and make sure that you go through it and listen very well. From here, I'm going to say Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.